Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, quality consulting from here in Connecticut. I just want to expose you to this. Maybe you don't give a shit. Turn the video off then. That's all I have to say. You know something? You are what you eat. And as Thomas Paine would say, and I really love his statement, he said, when speaking the truth is many times like administering medication to the dead. This is about Tesla recalls. Yes, Elon Musk, the big Elon. The big Elon, and everybody thinks that he is like walking on water. Well, let me tell you something. If he was walking on water with his quality issues, he'd sink like a rock. I'll tell you right now. Tesla recalls vehicles to fix autopilot fault. QA expert Daryl Guberman explains, yes. They have issues with quality like nobody's business. Yes, from what I've gathered, they are ANSI-ASQ-ANAB accredited at some of their facilities. I tried to get a hold of them saying not to join the International Automotive Task Force, which is a standard organization made up of all these car companies that are really screwing the pooch, as they say. That's a quality term. What they do is they push these cars out the door. I guess Elon has learned the same type of methodologies because they all sit on ANSI-ASQ-ANAB. Okay, they're all affiliated with this quality shit. And so let me just tell you this. You have the IATF, which you have Mercedes on board, Ford, GM, Chrysler, all of these organizations, these car companies, and they utilize the same suppliers. All they do, I always say, is they take the label off an Audi and stick a Ford on the wiring harness. But it's a little bit more intricate than that. So let me just tell you about Elon. A couple months ago, he had a recall with issues on braking systems, and there's cars over here like Ford, 875,000 trucks were recalled with the same kind of issue because they use the same suppliers. And I apologize to the suppliers, but I know you have pressures put on you by the automotive companies because the CEO is sitting there smoking their cigar, holding their bottle of champagne, saying, what board am I going to sit on next? And that's it. They really don't care. They say, push the product out the door, forget about R&D, and let's go. Tesla in China had 1.1 million recalls on their cars, okay, for a braking system issue. I think Ford, most recently, 875,000 F-150 trucks. You have this pervasive issue throughout, even high-end cars. If I remember correctly, that you saw Schwarzenegger driving down his Ducati, I think it's got electrical issues. Not his car, but some of them that are produced, that the car just sits there and ignites almost like some of Tesla's cars. I don't want to go too deeply into this because I know your attention spans are shot. But I will say this. It used to be the quality of the product. My mom and dad always had a saying, Daryl, if you want to buy good, sometimes you have to spend a little bit more money. Well, let me tell you something. When you're spending $30, $40, $50, $70, $100,000 on some of these cars, and you drive it out of the parking lot, and 2 months later, or even a month later, even 6 months or a year later, you get a recall notice, you have to say, what the hell am I spending that type of money? I had an issue with a car. I can't tell you what type of car it was, but the engine died in it. And you know what I did? I picketed, okay? I picketed that organization. And they did pay me back. It was expensive because they didn't have a loaner car because there were many cars that had this type of issue. And I had to sign a confidentiality that I can't talk about it. I can't talk about the company, but I can sure as hell tell you what issue happened. Yes, engine issues. So you have Tesla with an autopilot fix issue. Probably they got into a lot of accidents. I'm going to leave it here. You know something, if you want to talk, Elon, give me a call because no matter what you do, if you're getting your quality methodologies from the American National Standards Institute, the American National Crediting Board, and it's not doing good for you. Because when you have recalls like this, you're just following quality principles and standards that ANSI puts forward. And I'm going to tell you why. Let me give you, for example, Pfizer sits on ANSI's board by their federal counterparts, the FDA, who approves those vaccines, CDC, NIH, USDA. Pfizer skip quality processes and standards. What's going on here? They had a recall of 15 million or so vaccines because of contamination and skipping quality processes and standards. You have Johnson & Johnson, same thing, 75 million vials of contaminated COVID vaccine got pushed back. This is really bad because it's most recent that Boeing, okay, skipped quality processes and they didn't record any sort of autoclave information from 2007 to 2018, most recently. They sit on ANSI, all of them sit on ANSI's board by their federal counterparts, meaning for the Pfizer, it's FDA, USDA, CDC, NIH, etc. For Boeing and Lockheed, Boeing fudges documentation. Lockheed up to its 801st F-35. It has loss of pilot, loss of aircraft. And you people are still sitting there saying, what is this guy talking about? I don't know whether it's a COVID vaccine. Maybe you have brain fog. I don't know. You'll find all the information down below this video. The reason why I do this is because of integrity, honesty, and the truth. That's why. Okay, my business is my company's name. Yes, you'll get some bullshit on the internet that's telling I'm a scam artist, I'm a fraud, I'm this, I got sued by this shill who filed, by the way, bankruptcy for $632,000 in 2016, and he lost that case. Okay, I learned about the law very quickly when I had my attorney who was representing my company down there the first time, because the guy didn't like the way the judge ruled on it the first time, so he sued me again. He lost, he walked away. But let me tell you what the lawyer said. This is a good one for Donald Trump. He said, state and federal courtrooms are no more than blue smoke and mirrors. That means it's a charade. That guy Organ, or whatever the heck his name is in New York, going after Trump, he's no judge. He's no judge. He's not judging by the law. He's judging by how he feels. So I would have him take his truss off and relax down there because I think the heat has boiled his brains. But anyway, you have all this mess. Lockheed Martin, if they're 801st F-35, they're still producing shit. Their LCS Littoral battleship is notorious for crap. Okay? The B-2 bomber, that's not too good either. Very bad. That technology really wasn't working in the 50s with the flying wing. You think it's working with all these computer systems? Unbelievable. And if Boeing is skipping quality processes, they sit on ANSI standards. They sit on ANSI's board right over by ANAB. The worst thing is that when you look at their supplier portal and it says third-party auditors must be ANSI-ANAB or international equivalent, you find out the international equivalent is Iran and Pakistan, who sit on the International Accreditation Form incorporated in Delaware. So any of you who are ANSI-ANAB accredited through all these registrars, many are not American. DNV, TUV, QAS International, they have satellites over in this country. TUV was involved with the Nazis certifying carbon monoxide tanks. And by the way, TUV, I have the data. I have actual letters from the commandants at concentration camps bitching at TUV. TUV changed their name over time. It's still TUV. I'm going to leave it here. It's disgusting when you have a recall of a Tesla. Everybody's, we have to go electric. Yet they don't figure that that car is made out of petroleum. The tires are, the plastic panels, the seat covers. All of that is plastic. And they use a lot of energy in manufacturing that. And you put a lot of stress on our electrical grid, which they want. Our government wants us to be slaves. And as A.A. Milne said, it is easier to believe a lie one has heard 1,000 times than to believe a fact no one has heard before. And this is a fact. Elon, you produce dreck. You always have. But because you have the government on your side, United States government, you can keep on failing and failing and failing and investing your own money, which is probably not yours. But to have a recall, Tesla here and 1.1 million and the cars Y and X are burning up. Dear God, quality is in the trash and it's all based on ANSI and ANAB. And by the way, they are underwriters for the International Accreditation Form incorporated in Delaware and also the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. Underwriters mean that any failure within the system or the product quality is on their shoulders, but they will not get but a slap on the wrist. You know why? Because I'll tell you why. Because, very simply, the Department of Justice sits on them. The FBI, who Christopher Wray says under deposition, we must maintain vigilance over China. Oh, you're not going to maintain vigilance over China, my friend, because China was watching over you between 2015 and 21 because ANSI-ASQ-ANAB were sitting on the international accreditation at that time. And the Chinese national was there who's been involved with our quality since 1994 anyway. It's disgusting. Again, my telephone number is 203-556-1493. And this video today is about Tesla recalls vehicles to fix autopilot fault. QA expert Daryl Guberman explains. I'm sorry it's in depth, but you have to get the truth. The rest of the data will be down in the description. I'm forever grateful. Thank you.